any sort of oppression is completely haram, and the ayat I've recited indicate and clearly mandate that, and the ahadith also clearly state that. Allah says in a hadith Qudsi, meaning Allah speaking, He says that, Ya ibadi, my servants, don't oppress one another. I have made oppression forbidden on myself. That I have made oppression and dhulm forbidden on Allah Himself. He will not oppress anybody. So how dare you, as servants of Allah, slaves of Allah, makhluqat of Allah, creations of Allah, how dare we oppress others? What gave us the right? And the ahadith carry on, the ayat also carry on, that Allah says in the Quran in Surah Ibrahim towards the end, that don't think Allah is unaware of what the oppressors do. وَعَنَتِ الْوُجُوهُ لِلْحَيِّ الْقَيُّومِ وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ حَمَلَ ظُلْمًا. The true loser is the one that has oppression on his accounts. We cannot afford to oppress others. What gave us the rights? What does it mean to oppress? We need to understand this, because it's a great crime. And to understand the crime is a part of avoiding it. Oppression can be to not fulfill the rights, to not carry out your responsibilities. To not fulfill the rights a person or someone has over you is a form of oppression. Allah has the right to be obeyed and to be worshipped. Allah has the right to be proclaimed that He is one. There's no doubt whatsoever Allah is one. La ilaha illallah. Saying otherwise is the biggest of oppressions. وَإِنَّ الشِّرْكَ لَظُلْمٌ عَظِيمٌ. The greatest of oppressions is to say that Allah has a partner. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. This is not giving the rights of Allah, and so therefore that's an oppression. Not fulfilling the rights of Allah also in the sense of not praying, not giving your zakat, not going to Hajj when you have to, not fasting when you're supposed to, not doing qada when you have missed. These are all coming short of or falling short of fulfilling the rights of Allah. And so that's an oppression in that regard. It's an oppression to yourself. Oppression to yourself means that you are not fulfilling the rights of your spirituality also. The Quran has a right to be recited. Not doing so is a form of oppression to your own spirituality, you can say. We have a responsibility to take care of our own health. Not taking care of your health and your body and the ni'mah and the trust that Allah has given you is a form of oppression. Excessively eating sugar or meat or smoking or drugs or alcohol or anything that harms your body, whether it's laziness or obesity, these are all forms of oppressing our own bodies. Filling our minds with darkness and wrongs and filling our eyes and ears with sins and darknesses and dhulumat is also a form of oppression. Oppressing ourselves, we cannot do. Who said we can oppress ourselves? My body, yes, but it's Allah that gave it to me. It's an amana from Allah. Be careful, my dear brothers and sisters, that we don't oppress the rights of Allah, oppress ourselves either. Then we come to oppression when it comes to the relationship with our parents. How often, how commonly do we hear that parents are oppressed? Their rights are not fulfilled. My son doesn't call me. My daughter doesn't want to know me. She shouts at me. She argues with me. She swears at me. She insults me. He doesn't spend on me. And I spent days and nights looking after him, feeding him, providing for him, crying for him, making dua for him. Couldn't sleep when he was ill. And now he doesn't bother to call me. Doesn't bother to care for me. Can't afford to, doesn't have the time to send me some fruit, send me some food. Come by, stop by to say, are you okay, mum? Are you okay, dad? What's this? One of the biggest oppressions is to wrong your parents. Wallahi, Allah's rights, straight after that is the rights of your parents. Oppressing our parents is one of the biggest crimes that you can do. We cannot afford to do it at all. Be careful about your parents. Fear Allah about your parents. Then we come oppressing our children. Many parents oppress their children. Yes, it's two ways. It's not just one way, it's two ways. You can oppress your children. A form of neglecting your children's education, their spirituality, their need for good food, good attention, good time, healthy time. Your attention is a right that they have over you. You not giving it to them is you oppressing them. They have a right for you when you go home that you speak to them, say welcome, speak to them nicely, address them, contact, not just on your phone, too busy with the news, too busy with this and that. What's all of this? It's not allowed. Children have a right over us. We cannot neglect or oppress our children in any of these ways. Of course, this can be elaborated upon, but I just want to sort of touch upon the subjects. Now, when we talk about children, I must also add in children-in-law. those who you marry into your families. More time and again I hear complaints and I hear scenarios that the son-in-law has been too much demand. Too much demand. This, that, always go here, too much expenditures. If you are demanding someone to do something that they cannot do and don't have to do, this is a form of oppression also. Son-in-laws are oppressed just like daughters-in-laws are also oppressed in the houses that they are married into. You know this more than me. Why is it that when the daughter-in-law wants to go and visit her parents is a crime? Who said this? Why is it that in our society, in our culture, in our Deshi culture, okay, or in our cultures that we have, that the woman wants to go see her parents? Why is that a crime? Why do we get upset about this? If she wants to go once a week, it's too much. If she wants to see her friends, it's too much. All she's supposed to do is sit in the kitchen and do this and that. Yes, she has right. You have a right to ask for her help in the house. She has a responsibility also, just like the son has responsibilities, but to transgress, to go beyond, to push the barriers, to go beyond and to suppress and oppress and to pretend like the person is just a slave person in the house. This is not allowed. The Prophet never taught us this. The Quran didn't teach us this. My dear brothers and sisters, your children, your son-in-law is your son. Your daughter-in-law is your daughter. Would you like it if your daughter was treated like this in her hold buddy or in her in-laws' homes? Think about this. Whenever you want to check if this is oppression or not, try to imagine yourself in the same situation. And you will see that a lot of the time, subhanAllah, we are pushing the barriers too far. Let's understand, let's broaden our minds. There is enough for our communities, for our children, as a challenge, from the challenges of atheism, of agnosticism, of doubts, of shukuk, for them to challenge and to accept Islam. And then if we top it up with these kind of aggressive behaviors, oppressive actions, then it makes it more difficult for someone to respect and love the deen, because they assume that it's from the deen. May Allah